All right. Hello, everybody. Folks are just starting to make their way in. Thanks for joining us today for our Brown University online MPH webinar. Today, we've got a great opportunity to meet some online Master of Public Health students at Brown. And so we'll tell you a little bit more about who they are in a second. Again, so excited to have you here as we get started here at the top of the hour. My name is Sparky Mortimer. I'm going to be moderating today's webinar today. So let me give you a little taste of what it is that we want to talk about today. Again, we've got some current online Master of Public Health students here who are eager to answer some questions for us about their experience in the program and give a little bit of their perspective on what makes Brown's online MPH unique. We've also got some folks from Brown faculty and staff who can help answer that as well. We know application deadlines are coming up. You'll see those at the bottom of each slide as we go. So we'll make sure that we go through a quick application checklist so you can see kind of what maybe you've already done and what you still need to do before those deadlines come around. And we will have time at the end for questions. So just use the Q&A function on your screen. You can click there, type in your questions, and then we'll answer those. We've got time set aside at the end to do that. But you don't have to wait till the end to ask your question. You can put them in any time, and then we'll address them when we get to that point. So with that, let's introduce some of the folks that we have joining us today from Brown. And it looks like Sean, looks like you've made it on. So Sean McLean, how about you introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, hi, sorry about that. I'm actually at my office today, so the Wi-Fi was a little slow, but I apologize if I'm a minute or so behind schedule. Thank you for your patience. So my name is Sean McLean. I'm entering now my second year in the online MPH program, just wrapping up the summer term. And I am a disaster workforce engagement manager here in the greater New York region for the Red Cross. I'm currently in the office here in New York City. Just really excited to talk with people, meet people. Thank you again, Jen, for the invite to take part. And looking forward to meeting you all.
All right, fantastic. Thanks, Sean. Tiffany, let's have you go next.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Wicks, and I'm wrapping up my first year in the program as well. I'm a therapist by trade, but am kind of going back to school for public health and very excited to be in this program and glad to be here, answer any questions.
All right, fantastic. Thanks, Tiffany. Amelia, let's have you go next.
Yep. Hi, everyone. I'm Amelia Walsh. I am also wrapping up my first year of this program, getting, Masters of Public Health. I am currently a member of the School of Public Health Graduate Student Council. I'm the co-chair of internal relations, so I deal with event stuff, online student engagement, all of that. So, in this program, you will be hearing a lot from me. But yeah, so that's kind of a little bit about me.
All right. Thanks so much, Amelia. All right, and last we have Aksa. Aksa, please go ahead.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Aksa, and I'm also going to start my second year of MPH at Brown University. I'm very fortunate to get admission in this school, and I'm enjoying learning here. I am medical graduate, and I'm also working on my medical training application. So I'm very happy to answer any question you have.
All right. Thank you so much, Aksa. Thanks to everybody for joining us today. So in addition to these four students, we've got some, maybe familiar faces if you've been on these webinars before. We got some folks from our Brown faculty and staff. So Matt, go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. These events are always so great when you actually have real current students that you can talk to and ask questions to, and they are amazing. I'm so impressed by every single one of them. And I've spoken to each one of them and worked with them, and they're just amazing. So it's really an awesome opportunity. But my name is Matt. I'm the Assistant Director of Student Recruitment and Marketing at the School of Public Health. So I help with admissions and recruiting activities for all of our master's degree programs and PhD programs. And I will turn things over to Jen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jen Nazarino. I'm inaugural associate director of the program. I'm also an associate dean for the university. I will be teaching one of the courses, which is social determinants of health. I'm a full-time professor at Brown as well. So I'll turn it over to Stacy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Stacy Babb. I'm the admissions coordinator for the School of Public Health. I also work with the online MPH program, and I also work with helping students with the admissions process. And I look forward to speaking with all of you and answering your questions today.
All right. Fantastic. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us today. And thanks for you who are in attendance today. We've got a lot of experts here on the line, and so we're eager to know what you want to know about the MPH program. So let's get a little warm-up session going for our current students, especially. So we've got some questions that we planned ahead of time. So the first one is just, why did you choose Brown's Online MPH? What was it about the program, the format, whatever it was, what was appealing about it? So let's just go in the same order. So Sean, how about you start us off? Why did you choose Brown's Online MPH?
Sure. So my story with Brown's Online MPH goes back actually quite a bit of time. I really was always very interested in Master of Public Health ever since undergrad. I actually, when I got in, still had the card from the first time I visited Brown's School of Public Health, which was back in like 2016 or 2017. And I had that. I found it in my drawer after after I got into the online program. So for me, I really had, fallen in love with Brown's School of Public Health years ago. And I knew that public health was something I was very passionate about, but my career took priority for me. And, at the time I had to think about, where my career was going. At that point, I, had started working as an AmeriCorps with the American Red Cross. I really fell in love with the organization, and really felt very passionate about the line of work I was doing. So when a career opportunity arose in the Red Cross, I took that career opportunity, and it kind of felt like I had to choose a crossroads between choosing my dream career path and my dream academic path. So when I loaded on one day, just out of curiosity, when I was thinking about online master's programs, when I loaded on out of curiosity to see Brown's website, just looking just to see, and saw online MPH coming soon. I have never opened up my email faster to send a question about it. So it was a dream come true to be able to be part of the Brown community and become a Brown student, while still being able to pursue my career. And I didn't feel like I had to choose anymore between one passion or the other. And so far, after 1 year, it really has definitely proven that I still feel like a full student at Brown, and the whole community here, the professors, the administration, the staff, everybody have really helped foster that sense of, treating us like full students. There definitely is not the same, for being an online program, the amount of community and the amount of, kind of like social interaction we have as a cohort, and feeling of belonging, I think really is well emphasized here. So I couldn't be happier with my decision. So, yeah.
That's great. Thanks for sharing all that, Sean, and for your perspective there. Appreciate it. Tiffany, same question. What was it about Brown's Online MPH that made you want to enroll?
Yeah, absolutely. So I already have a terminal degree, and I am one of those people that I do love school. I love learning, but I've been looking at public health programs for a while. I'm in the mental health field, but I feel like there's a lot of gaps in terms of like larger public health issues that I needed to really grasp through coursework and not just like certifications or anything like that. And so really to like have a robust knowledge of public health issues, and be able to expand beyond mental health, and my specifically maternal health, which is my focus. And so I wanted to pursue that. I looked at several different programs. I applied to several different programs. One thing that stood out though is that I won't forget that I got on a call last summer, and with one of the admissions advisors, and they were just incredibly kind. And I kind of told them I have 3 kids, like I work full-time job, I own my own company, and so all these other things where it's like, okay, I've got a lot of life happening, and they were just very honest with me, and also like, hey, here's where we can be flexible, and here are some of the things that can be adjusted, and which I very much appreciated. I also appreciated like quick responses. And then getting into the program was it was exactly consistent with everything that I had on that admissions call, and that I had experienced up until attending the program. So that definitely sold me, because I will say that the other programs I applied to were not that way. And being in this program, I would say that it's definitely the best school I've ever been to. And I can say that easily. And so, yeah, I'm sure that there'll be other questions to that effect, but that is the reason why I chose it.
That's so great, Tiffany. I appreciate that. That's maybe not as unique a perspective as maybe some folks think and say, hey, I'm trying to balance everything. And we'll have a question a little bit more about that a little later. So interested to see what you have to say about that. Amelia, again, same question. Why did you choose Brown and why this program?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. I thought a lot about that since joining the program, and it comes down to basically just everything kind of fell into place for me with Brown, and it similar to what Tiffany said, and it didn't really do that with other programs. But I started off my academic professional career with one goal in mind. I wanted to go to medical school and I wanted to be a doctor and do that. And it was about like my third year in undergrad that I realized I don't want to do that. So I had to switch it up, and I ended up working in a lab for my city's government and doing wastewater treatment, which is not glamorous, but it was a good job. But it was missing that healthcare aspect that I'd always wanted. So I kind of had to do a lot of research into career change essentially, and found public health. And I had been exposed to public health when I was in undergrad. I just hadn't clicked. So when I was doing my research, part of Sean's experience, I looked at Brown's website, which was really amazing. And they had a lot of perks that I wanted. So, I wanted to be a part of an online program because there's flexibility that comes with it. And, I needed flexibility, and I couldn't move across the country to go to Brown and be, in Rhode Island, because at the time I was living in California. Right now I live in Texas. So it just provided flexibility that I needed for my life, because life happens, like Tiffany was saying, there's a lot of change happening in my life currently, and I just needed an online flexible program. The admin, faculty, everybody who I communicated with was very, very pleasant, very comforting is a proper word. I had a lot of imposter syndrome going into this because it's an Ivy League school, and I didn't think I had what it takes to be part of an Ivy program. And the faculty, they definitely shut that thought down. They said you're supposed to be here. So that was another thing that made my process coming to Brown that much greater. But yeah.
That's great. I'm seeing a lot of vigorous head nods as you were talking. So it sounds like a pretty common experience for a lot of folks. So I appreciate that. All right, Aksa, what else can you add to this, to answers to this question?
Yeah, so I will tell you a little bit that why I chose public health and why I chose Brown. So as I mentioned that I am a medical graduate and I did my med school from back in Pakistan. And when I got admission into med school, while I was in Pakistan, I realized that in Pakistan, people are still working on curative aspect of medicine, and they are not working more on public health or non-clinical aspects of medicine. So that's when I realized that I need to do something in public health and I need to learn more about it. So then I moved into the United States, and I was very clear that I want to combine my clinical skills with non-clinical aspects of medicine. So when I was looking for the schools, of course, I wanted to get a quality education, and and one thing during this whole process, I had several meetings with Jen too, and she said something which really I like, that here we learn public health by doing public health. So I said, yes, this is what I want to do, So that's why I chose Brown. It's give you quality education, and also being a full-time a medical professional, and also having a kid. So I wanted a program which gives me some flexibility. And as I mentioned that I'm an international student, so the admission process was a little bit different because we needed some credential evaluation, and I was not very much familiar with all this American, how this system works. So I was going back and forth. I was writing so many emails, and it was very easy. People were very responsive, and they made this whole admission process very easy for me. And thank you very much for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That's so great to hear. So our next question, a common thread that I heard a lot through your answers to the first question was about that flexibility piece, to be the ability to access this program from wherever you are. So we're curious to know, how do you maintain that work, school, and life balance? Tiffany, I'll start with you. You talked about, hey, I'm a professional and I'm a mom. How am I supposed to be a student at the same time? So as you've gone through the program, What's worked for you to try to maintain that balance and fulfill all these different obligations in your life?
Yeah. Well, I will start by saying I'm the queen of timing, and I enrolled in this program 8 months pregnant. And so the first semester was a little bit difficult, to say the least, and not so much in the terms of the program. I thought they were incredible. But having a baby and all that other stuff. So I would say that as far as flexibility, I'm able to find um, time. And what I really love about it is that the lectures are recorded. I can watch those. If I can't attend class, there's plenty of reading material where I can actually understand things. And so and professors are incredibly accessible. And so if I email a professor, I know I'm going to get a response, either same day or like next morning. And so like that is really encouraging. And so all that to say, like, that balance has I'm able to find some of those times in that the work is challenging, but it's doable, and I'm able to like figure out, okay, is it after bedtime, is it after on the weekends, like Saturdays and Sundays and those kinds of things, and finding those little pockets of moments. But like the resources I think that we're given are allowing us to like be able to kind of have that balance. So watch a lecture one day, read an article the next, those kinds of things. But like, because there's a wealth of resources, I'm able to have like the comprehensive knowledge to do the work and just like be able to like execute the work pretty clearly. So yeah, I will say from my view, I did drop down to part-time in the fall when I had my baby. And that Jen and Nithya and Hannah were incredible, and got on a call with me and asked about me first, and asked about how I was doing and what I needed before they ever got to adapting my plan. And so I'm forever grateful for that, and I will never forget that. And so as far as balance, I think that it's always ever evolving, especially dependent on the course. But yeah, but the program is flexible too, and their understanding as well. So
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Tiffany. I'm sure there's a lot of folks who would share a lot of those same sentiments. So, Amelia, same thing for you. What as you've kind of traversed the country, so to speak, as you've gone through this program, or just kind of gone through your life. What does that balance look like for you? How are you able to do everything?
It's a great question, and I narrow it down to, I think, two really important things, skill sets that I've needed to refine throughout this program, because I mean your skill sets they're always growing, but that would be organization and also communication. So with organization, I not dissimilar to Tiffany, I had a lot going on the first semester. I got married that semester, and it was just a lot of things happening. Not as much as having a baby. Tiffany, I don't know how you did it. You're just amazing. But so I had to really sit myself down and kind of plan out, okay, here's how much time I have each week to work on school. And that, I would say, I would love to say that I've stuck to that religiously, but there are weeks that I just slack a little bit. And that's okay. Remembering that, sometimes some weeks are a little bit more chaotic than others. It's okay to do the bare minimum. A lot of people in the program are very type A, really wonderful students. So, having life happen and work happen and school happen all at once is a lot and is chaotic. And sometimes you just need to take a step back from something, take a breath, and then, get back and start over the next week. And that's okay. So that was a hard lesson for me to learn. But also, communication. Tiffany kind of mentioned this with the, our professors being very, receptive to what we have to say. Just talk to your professors. They're wonderful people. I remember, like when I got married, I said, hey, I'm getting married in October. There's going to be a week where I'm just not available. And they were wonderful with that. This past semester, I had to move, which was a lot. And my professors were very wonderful about that too, and understanding. So really keeping communication open is important. Letting people know what's going on is important. And then also even just your cohort, your peers, they are a wonderful resource. You know, if you can't do something, you know, talk to your community and say, hey guys, I'm confused about something. Can you help me? We've found a lot of camaraderie within our cohort, and I think that has helped me with my success in the program. So yeah.
Very good. Thank you again for sharing that with us. Aksa, what does this equation look like for you in terms of work, school, the rest of your life? How do you keep it all together?
Yeah, so I will say very flexible. First of all, the online classes at a time when we are back from our work, or in the evening before dinner time. But even because of some reason you cannot sit in the synchronized session, there's a recording which we can come later and sit down. And other than that, I guess I'm very happy with our teachers, our professors. They are very great in communication. If because of some personal reasons you are running a little bit behind, they are very considerate. And if your reason is very genuine, they will give you a little bit extension. And I mean, that's really great. And I also just like Amelia said that she was getting married. I also was having a one big life-changing event this whole year. In the beginning of the year, I had a call with Jen, and thank you, Jen. Jen was at the airport, and I could hear the voices, and she was there, and she was listening to me, and I was literally about to cry that I don't know, should I enroll myself in the next term, or should I take a leave of absence? And Jen really gave me very genuine advice that maybe I should do this. And so I would say that faculty is awesome. Peers are awesome. Professors are awesome. They are very good and they not only like, okay, we want the grade, they also listen to you, that how you are feeling. And because of this reason, I wanted to take a leave of absence in my summer semester, which I was granted, and now I'll be back in fall. So thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right. That's great. Jen, answering calls from the airport. I mean, you know, kudos to you. Goodness.
I'm dedicated.
Fantastic. Sean, what does this look like for you? What perspective would you add to maintaining work-school life balance?
Yeah, so a lot of the things already mentioned, definitely I resonate a lot with that. You know, communicating with the faculty. I can't thank enough for like the amazing work that, you know, especially Matthew Wallace was one of the first people I met with, and then from there I spoke with Jen, and again that really helps with making me feel like, you know, I belong to and that I should, you know, sign up or I should apply, because I know one of my big concerns when I first went into the program was that my profession can be very hectic and chaotic with scheduling. You know, it's very difficult to determine how disaster is going to look for every year. So every season is kind of a toss-up of, am I going to have a light season or am I going to have a heavy season? We don't know. So my availability was very hectic, and I was originally very nervous because, you know, I did actually, I had done another master's program, then I had to leave that program because I just could not, it was an in-person master's just locally, and I could not do the in-person schooling on top of my profession. It just wasn't possible with the work schedule to have things like mandatory tests and classes, and, you know, and everything. So looking for an asynchronous program really was the only solution. And I was very nervous at first coming into the program. I started part-time like Tiffany, but Jen and Matthew and everyone on the program were so unbelievably accommodating and really understanding about, you know, adjusting the schedule based on work needs and making sure that it would work for me. So I would say, honestly, my number one tool that I utilized and that I continue to utilize in maintaining work-life balance is communication. What I've really found is that everyone in this program, from the administration, you know, as I mentioned, Jen and Matthew and everyone, to the actual professors themselves, are very open door. It is a small program, and that really helps with, you know, very open pipelines of communication. And I found that communicating my availability, you know, if I know that I'm going to be very distracted by work for a while, I know I can reach out to my professors and they'll always be accommodating and understanding. And I've never encountered a situation where a professor wasn't willing to work with me, you know, depending on what my availability looked like, because everyone here understands that this is a program for working adults, you know, and that this is something that they want to make sure everyone can accommodate on top of their existing work schedule. And to have that level of kind of collaboration with the administration on making sure that my academics fit my work schedule as well, was really unprecedented. I hadn't experienced that before. And just the same way also for me, I found, I know this was mentioned by Amelia, but I found that the communication with other students also really helped a lot as well. We have an extremely interactive cohort with multiple lines of communication going that we all regularly take part in. And I have to say, you know, compared to my last attempt at a master's, which was in person, it's crazy how much more in touch I feel like I am with the students in this program than I ever was in an in-person master's. That's really shows how communicative and how collaborative our cohort is, that we have all developed such a close-knit kind of communication system, and we are all in such you know, tightly knit and in contact with one another. So I always know if I have a question or if I'm ever concerned about something, I can reach out to our fellow students on either a Slack channel, through direct messaging, you know, through email, and I always know I have a support circle. And that's something that's really amazing about this program that if from everyone else I've heard from, a lot of people who've done it, you know, other online programs haven't experienced the same. And I can say I haven't even experienced the same in some in-person programs. So I think that communication has really been number one for me in this, and continues to be number one.
Yeah, that's great. So appreciate your perspective and examples that you have there. All right, we've got one more question for you before we give you a break and we turn the time over to some other folks. But obviously, you know, our audience here is prospective students, people who are you know, at different stages maybe of that application and enrollment process. So what advice do you have for people who are considering, maybe they're on the fence, they're not sure if they should, you know, kind of take that leap, knowing what you know now, if you could go back to your past self and say, hey, here's why you should do this, what advice would you have? So Amelia, how about I start with you? If you were talking to someone, either your past self or someone else who's considering the program but not sure, what would you tell them?
Definitely with my past self, I would say, you know, just apply. Because I mentioned this earlier, but I had very, very big imposter syndrome. I didn't think I was good enough to go to Brown. You know, I definitely let the prestige of the university scare me a little bit. And also just what I felt like a lack of experience kind of hold me back. I mean, I am on the younger side, and I wasn't developed necessarily in my career, which is a good thing because I wanted a career change. But I didn't think I had enough public health experience to get into this program. And fortunately, you know, I had a community around me saying, you know, just do it, just go for it. And I applied and got in, and that was probably like the happiest moment of one of the happiest moments, was opening that acceptance, because it kind of it showed me that, you know, I'm way harder on myself than I should be. But just apply, because you never know, you know, what's going to happen. If you have, you know, doubts of yourself, that's all in your head. It's probably just you know, being overly critical. And, you know, even though, yes, Brown is prestigious, I mean, don't let that scare you. It's an amazing university, and it does amazing things, which is important. That's why it has its prestige. But that'll also give you, you know, skills for, you know, your future. So if it's something that you want a career change, you want to advance in your field, Brown will help you with that. You just have to take the first step, you know, and just apply. And then, you know, also, yeah, I would say just make sure that you understand that this is, you know, like a graduate program. It's going to take some time to, you know, work through stuff. But you have support around you that will help with that. So if that's another thing you're stressed about, is, oh, it's going to be such a big time commitment, to me, it's 100% manageable, and you have the resources to make it happen. So yeah, don't let yourself limit yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Just tell yourself the limit does not exist. Right.
Yeah.
And then there you go. Right on. Okay. Aksa, same question. What advice would you give to people who are maybe not quite sure if this is the program for them?
I would say that, first of all, people should know that why they want to work for public health. I mean, if you have better understanding this profession, that you're really passionate about it. And then if you are passionate about it, then I would say Brown is the right choice. Why? Because first of all, it's going to give you a very quality education. And not only education, they're also going to work on your own professional developmental skills too. So, I mean, atmosphere is great. Teachers, professors, everything is wonderful, and it's going to open so many doors for you. Don't get scared. Like Amelia said that, oh, maybe it's like, I mean, it's a very prestigious institute. Probably I don't have enough experience in public health, but just apply, just apply.
Yeah, apply. I keep hearing that a lot. It's almost
Yeah.
like people to apply. That's great. Let's see, Sean, same question. Think back to as you were considering, kind of thinking whether this was the right one for you. What would you say to folks who are in that spot now? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, so already again, so many amazing comments coming from everyone. I definitely relate, Amelia, to this is the same kind of imposter syndrome. I definitely experienced that a lot, like you said, being on the younger side, and also, with the level of prestige that goes into Brown. I mean, it was always, my dream school, so it was always like kind of lofty up in the clouds there. But one thing that really I would give advice to is don't be afraid to reach out. Because that was one of my big things I was nervous about when I was thinking about my career, and when I was just starting out, reaching out to Matthew and Jen and everyone. I was like, oh, am I asking too much? It's like, oh, either I'm still applying, or oh, I just got in, or I'm thinking about applying. Like, is it gonna look bad or put me in a bad spot if I'm asking these things too early? And even now, even going through it's like, oh, I have some questions about the program or concerns about something, but I'm afraid of stepping out. I don't want to ask. I don't want to ask too many questions or bother anyone. Everyone I've spoken with, I mean, Jen and I will have conversation. She would be willing to stay on a conversation for an hour to talk about just anything. And every time I've had a conversation with anyone from the administration, they've just gone out of their way to just really validate any questions I have, and I always leave my meetings with administration members feeling so much better than I did before, because I always afterwards I'm like, why was I hesitant to ask that question? And why was I hesitant to ask about accommodations for work related travel and stuff like that. And it's like it always makes me feel as though I understand why I was nervous to ask in the first place, but at the same time, the administration here is so open to communication. There's such a communicative culture, a really positive culture that's really student forward, and really, at no point have I ever felt anything other than fully supported, in my participation in the program, and made to feel like I belong in the program. So I really can't advise enough. If you have any questions, any concerns, reach out, touch base with, and if someone can't give you an answer, they will help you find someone who can give you the answer you need. There's a person in the program for everything. Brenda has been so incredibly helpful with me in my applied public health experience. So that's been going really well as well. But there's so many people, everyone I've met in the program on the administrative side has been phenomenal at answering my questions and really putting my mind at ease when I was very nervous, admittedly, coming back to a master's after my last experience of trying to balance one on top of my job. I didn't think it would be possible. And to be able to not only come back to my master's, but at my dream school and feel validated to do so by the administration has been nothing short of a dream come true. So, and all of that was possible because I had the confidence to send those emails and ask about attending those meetings. So
yeah. That's great, Sean. I'm sure you, just taking that courage and you're reaping the benefits of that right now. That's great. All right, Tiffany, same question. What advice would you give to our prospective students who are attending here today? What would you tell them?
I want to kind of echo what Aksa was saying. Is this, the idea of passion for mental or for public health, right? And so this idea of if you have this passion, the course content is really rich. You will learn something. You will gain, knowledge and skills that you didn't have before. And to me, that's worth it in and of itself, right? And so if you're on the edge of okay, whether I do this or not, okay, well, we've talked about the flexibility, we've talked about the manageability, but if you're really passionate about this, do this. The courses are well laid out and content rich. And so I think that's worth it.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the depth and breadth of the answers that you give. We'll give you a little bit of a breather. We know we got more questions coming on the way, but I'm going to turn things over to Jen for a little bit. And I know we've talked about a good amount of this stuff already and the answers that we've gotten here. But what else would you like to share, Jen, in terms of what makes Brown's online MPH unique?
Sure. Can I first say, just thank you, everyone, for everything you've said. My heart is full. I can just tear up just thinking, just hearing just your candid, just being so open and talking about your experiences. It really means a lot to us. And on behalf of the administration and behalf of the professors, thank you for, again, just like sharing your experiences. So in terms of what makes us unique, we definitely really focused on how we're being very thoughtful of how we design this program. So a little bit of background, Dean Ashish Jha, this was his initiative when he started at Brown at the School of Public Health. And then he did go to DC to work with the Biden administration. He just recently returned, and he's very interested in this program and is looking forward to meeting this cohort as well as the future cohorts. But so talking about what makes this program unique, we thought about bringing in cases, this notion of case-based learning, talking and going through real world public health challenges and talking about them in real time, as well as talking about historical cases that we've all maybe experienced, or what we another way to learn about how we've solved some public health challenges and the public health challenges we still face today. 100% online, yes. Asynchronous courses provide you that flexibility, but we do have this optional synchronous session that occurs every week. We really do pride ourselves on being high touch, that you still have access to your faculty member every week. They are available for the sync session 1 hour per week. It is optional, but highly recommended you attend. But it is recorded for those that can't make it. Curriculum that prepares you for leadership. This is one of I think our touch tones, like this is just like something that we really did care about in terms of making sure that we wanted to definitely create a generalist MPH, but because of what we saw was happening during COVID, we needed to step up to the plate and be the leaders. We needed to be the ones to provide leadership courses for our graduates to feel confident about being the future generation of public health leaders, as well as we offer a communications course to communicate the public health challenges that we're facing, to effectively be able to communicate to the general public about what's going on. So in addition to foundational courses, we do have 2 leadership courses and 1 communications course. In terms of tuition, I get it. Ivy League education is expensive, and we've really thought through about how do we make this affordable and accessible. So compared to our peers, I do think we have a competitive price point. We do offer merit-based scholarships to help ease that cost. And so it is $60,000 for the whole program, but we do offer 33%, 50%, and 100% merit-based scholarships.
Okay, that's great, Jen, and that's a nice transition into the next part that we want to talk about. You may have seen across the bottom of the screen these application deadlines, and okay, so what do I need to do to make sure that I got my application all ready? So Stacy, this is where I'll turn it over to you to talk about, okay, what do folks need to be cognizant of as they're getting this application together?
Thank you, Sparky. So just some things to be mindful of for your application checklist. You want to make sure that you've completed your bachelor's degree, or if you're currently enrolled in a degree program, that you're able to complete it before applying to the online MPH program. That you also have at least 2 years of professional experience prior to the start date of the program. For students, this may look different. This could be a combination of work experience during your undergraduate experience or post-grad professional experience as well. We also recommend 3 letters of recommendation. This can be from your previous institution of study, or if you've been working for some time within your respective career field, this can also be from professional references as well. You also want to have your personal statement, and we really do recommend that you focus on the why Brown question within your personal statement. The committee really does look for students to specify why Brown, why public health, and how you can apply what you've learned, as our students have mentioned, to your respective career field post-graduation. You also want to include all your official transcripts from colleges and universities that you previously attended, the application fee, and you can also complete the application at online MPH at brown.edu/apply. The application is now on Slate, so it's a bit easier for students to navigate that platform. It's very student friendly. So if you have like any specific questions about that, always feel free to reach out to our admissions team. And if you are attending an international school, we will also require that you submit language proficiency test scores as well. And you also need a WES transcript evaluation as well, if you did complete your undergraduate degree internationally. And again, if you have any questions about any of these test scores or application requirements, please feel free to reach out to us anytime.
All right, that's great. Great summary and recap, Stacy. Matt, what else would you add in terms of, as folks are going through this application process, any other advice you'd give, or any other just what else would you say to these folks that are going through this process?
Be yourself. Yourself is good enough. Tell us why Brown, why you're passionate about public health, your story. Tell us why now. Your personal statement's really going to be the way that you differentiate yourself from the rest of the crowd. And don't worry so much about, hey, am I going to be able to get into Brown? It's much more like, are we good enough for you? Like, that's how the admissions committees look at it. We read your application. We say, do we have the resources? Do we have the faculty? Do we have the connections so that we can make you successful in your pursuit of your dreams? Because after all, this is your livelihood, right? So that's the way the admissions committees look at it. So don't try to overthink it. I know it's very common to have imposter syndrome. I don't know, it's Ivy League, institution, but Brown is just such a welcoming, you're more than just a number. So if you're worrying about your GPA or you're worrying about something like that, it's a very holistic process by which we review our applications. So we review you as a full human being, and everybody has different experiences and different academic backgrounds. And that really makes the program a lot better, because we have all these different perspectives coming in. And I do want to say one thing. So I've been, this whole week, I've been interviewing for student ambassadors for the online MPH program, right? Every single one of them, these are individual interviews, right? Every single one of them has mentioned how surprised they were about how much community is actually in this online MPH program. And I was blown away because it's hard. I mean, it's an online, mostly asynchronous program, right? And yet every single student said, I feel connection, I feel the warmth, I feel mentored by faculty, I feel connected to my cohort. So I just think that's an incredible accomplishment for an online program, any online program. And I was pretty floored by that because it's something that I didn't really know, but to hear it from every single one of the students and then hearing it from our students that are here today is just an awesome thing to hear about the program. But as far as your application, one last thing. So for your international transcripts, we're a little bit more flexible with those as well. So you can also do ECE and SpanTran as well. So I know WES can be kind of expensive. So ECE and SpanTran are accepted as well.
That's great.
But I also, sorry.
Yes, please, Jan, go ahead.
I am part of the admissions committee. There are about 8 to 10 faculty and staff members that are part of the admissions committee. And so I really just want to really put it out there. We do really read everything. We definitely read that personal statement. So please just be yourself. And also the letters of rec, make sure who's writing your letters of rec is going to take the time to really talk in detail about you, because that matters. Because we do have such a high caliber of number of students applying. We look at the whole application. So definitely when you're thinking about letter writers, just find folks that really can take the time to write you a strong letter.
All right, that's great. Thanks, Jen, Matt, and Stacy for everything you've contributed today. We're going to head to our Q&A portion, just a little transition, a little plug before we do that. We've got another one of these webinars coming up on September 12th, where we'll have a chance to meet MPH faculty and ask them probably a lot of the same questions that we've talked about here. So be sure to join us for that as well here on Zoom. So with that, we're going to go to the live Q&A. Thanks to everybody who is, I can already see there's been so much activity in the Q&A portion so far. So I'm wondering if maybe we could recap some of the questions that we've gotten so far. If you haven't had a chance to ask anything yet, or maybe something new's come to mind and you got to ask, just use that Q&A icon, click that on your screen, and then go ahead and send us a question that you have. So let's just kind of review some of the questions that we've gotten in case people haven't had a chance to see those answers. So the first question we got was, are there in-person internship opportunities for students enrolled in the online MPH program? And Jen, you answered and said yes. What else would you say with regards to that?
I'd love for the grad students to talk about their internships, or but we do have Brenda McCary is our field placement coordinator. You can do an internship. So it's a required internship in order to get the MPH, but you can do an internship, like in-person internship wherever you live. Our field placement coordinator can definitely help you with finding one that suits your interests. It's 145 hours required for you to complete that internship. But I would love for any of the grad students to talk about their experiences. Oxqua, did you want to talk about yours maybe?
About my internship? Yes. So I was working in the nonprofit organization, and I requested them that if I could do my 145 hours there, and they accepted. So there was so many emails back and forth with Brenda, and she was very helpful, and communication was very quick. And I started doing my internship in the same organization where I was working, and I finished in May. By the end of May this year, I finished it. So it was wonderful experience. They gave me different tasks which I was not doing earlier, and with the 2 deliverables which I was supposed to do, and at the end of the internship, I guess in the middle of the internship, Brenda also was checking in that how we are doing and how's everything is going. And at the end of the internship, I just notified her, and she also sent a feedback form to my supervisor at the organization. And then she also mentioned that, yes, I have completed my internship. So whole process was very smooth, and I learned a lot.
Great.
Yeah.
And you completed yours, right? Already?
Yes, I completed by the end of May this year. I already did.
Fantastic. That is great. Thank you. Thanks for that. Next question was on student transfer. Does it say online anywhere? Nope. Your diploma says Brown University, Master of Public Health. No qualifiers, no additional adjectives. It's that is there. So it's a degree from Brown University. Yeah, nothing about online anywhere at all.
Can I also add?
Yeah, go ahead, Jen.
So so our courses are listed as generalist public health course. So it's like GPHP and then the course number. So that will be on your transcript. But I just want to add, like, I'm very proud that this is an online program, and we should be very proud that this that students are learning this way. We are intentional about finding the talent out there. We want talented professionals to get their MPH and be part of the public health just workforce, and to be representative of Browns from around the country. So I just think, this is just our way of being able to broaden Brown's reach, to be able to get some of the most talented working professionals to be part of our school. So again, I just think it's a wonderful program to be part of. And I think being online creates that sense of flexibility for working professionals and those that have families.
Yeah, great insight. Appreciate that, Jen. Sean, you got a question you talked about the level of engagement that's in the program, and I know you provided some examples in your answers. So just give a little bit of a recap of that answer you gave in terms of the kind of engagement that's encouraged and facilitated in the program.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm more than happy to. So there are several kind of avenues in which we do communication throughout the program. In terms of the official avenues, we handle all of our courses through Canvas, but we have what is called the ED discussions. So ED is the name of the website, ED, and that is kind of where we have a lot of our postings from the actual professor themselves. That's where you can kind of ask the professor questions and see, answers from the both students and the professors. Oftentimes the beginning of the semester will start with a introduction board there, and that'll kind of be your main discussion board for that class for the semester with the professor as well. But in addition to that, we also have a very active Slack channel that is both student run and student managed for communication from student to student. And that is a very active way to keep in contact with the other students as well. And that's both for class related things and also for other things such as, any sort of events or social outings. I know Amelia has hosted in the past, campus visits and other opportunities for actual meeting in like the actual real tangible world. So, we are considered full students. So we have gone to campus. We have student IDs just like everybody else. You can request a student ID and get one from the main from the administration office. And we are fully welcome on campus. So we have been able to have the opportunity to go to campus if we are in the Northeast area, but it's not a requirement for the program. We are open to students around the country. In addition, we just have also had through the Slack channel, study sessions can happen organically or can be organized. I know Amelia was very instrumental in helping run many study sessions last semester for one of our more math forward classes, the epidemiology class. And same for the fall semester there was also a lot of study sessions for the what was it? What was the name of that class again, though, in the fall semester? The
Biostats.
Leadership.
Biostatistics, biostatistics. Yep, that was the one. So biostatistics and epidemiology, which are more math focused, had recurring study sessions hosted via Zoom. We do get access to a Brown Zoom account, so it is very helpful to have that kind of student level communication. And yeah, those are just a few of the examples, the ways, but really the student kind of communication definitely feels very organic. You meet students during the synchronous sessions, even if they're, they're optional, who might be in your area. And we've already had conversations about, opportunities for meeting with students, opportunities for campus visits. And the administration's also been very supportive of this as well. So yeah, I hope that answers that question. I also did actually have one comment as well for the internship question, if that's okay for me to mention.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I meant to say earlier, but I actually, so since I work full time, and there are a lot of other people who are also in this boat where doing an external internship isn't necessarily feasible with the level of work. I was able to work it out with my employer and with Brenda, who is so sweet and so willing to work with you, a way to do an actual AO work assignment that was public health related through my current employer. So it's more of an internal internship and just the addition of an additional project, as long as it meets the criterion for the AP applied public health experience of producing 2 deliverables. It can be qualified for your APHE. So I'm halfway through mine now. I've completed one of the 2 deliverables. And it's really been not really any disruption to my workflow. In fact, it's actually benefited my workplace by providing these deliverables that were, we saw an opportunity for improvement in a public health related way at our workplace for our disaster workforce. And it just happened to work out organically. But again, Jen helped with a lot of the discussions, of my nervousness about the internship, because I knew that was one thing that I was nervous about coming into the program as well. Is oh, my job's like a job and a half. I can't do an internship too. But then Brenda is phenomenal at walking you through every step. She is so eager to meet with people. I almost met her in person, but unfortunately, I just happened to be on campus the wrong day. And she's always happy to meet with everyone and wants to help everyone's internship go well. So Brenda, I think it's Brackett McClure, is that the last name? I believe. Yeah,
Right.
she's so sweet and she's more than happy to work with you. So, and again, that's one of the benefits of having a small program is it's so easy to communicate with the staff and develop a personal relationship with the staff. And she just recently checked in with me to see how everything was going, just to see how it's going. So yeah, just my 2 cents. If anyone's nervous about the internship requirement, if you're in a job where that might not be feasible, they will make it work for you. So
yeah. No, that's great. There are a couple follow-ups, Sean. What constitutes a deliverable when you're talking about the internship and a deliverable? What, either Sean or anyone else who's gone through that experience, What does that deliverable piece look like?
So I'm happy to you take whatever feedback from the other students as well who are on the call, and what their experience with the deliverables has been. For me, what it comes down to is something that is tangible, not necessarily tangible. It could just be a policy change, like it is in my case, but something that you can deliver to the program that lasts after your internship is over. So it's something that can be an ongoing project, like an ongoing improvement for the project, be it a tangible thing such as a new program, or just policy improvements. Or if it's a new system, that could be something more tangible, but it's just the idea of having something that is a deliverable program or program improvement that is lasting after the internship is over. So it's a policy that does not necessarily need you to be there to remain in place and be run by successors or be run by the existing program. I believe that that's at least my interpretation, but I'm open to hear if anyone else has any other experience as well.
Oscar, could you talk about your deliverables?
Yeah, I was just raising my hand. Yeah. So for me, it was like in the nonprofit organization, they wanted to completely overhaul their one program. So they divided into the two sections. First was this, that I program evaluation and the best practices. So I was given the task to collect all the data, what kind of, and using their data bank where they were keeping their data, what kind of services they are providing, how many people are benefiting from it, what are the barriers. And also it also involved me interacting with their participants. So I guess I interacted with almost like 300 participants, but it is not like that you have to do it in one day. I was only going once in a week and spending the whole day over there. And in the second section, after getting the data and analyzing it, and again, the learning biostatistics was very helpful because that taught us how we can do the data analysis and how the graph is going up and down. And then in the second section, we were going to organize workshops and doing outreach based on the needs of the participants. So these were the two deliverables that I worked on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm also, I could also share, what my one deliverable was as well, if anyone like another example. For me, we identified an opportunity for improvement in our deployed volunteers, because a lot of what we do is deploying volunteers to national level disasters. And we were identifying situations where volunteers were returning, feeling as though their health needs were not being fully met on deployment. So I worked on developing new policies and procedures for the organization to help better prepare and orient volunteers for healthcare needs they may have in a deployment setting, and also to make sure that we address any opportunities for improvement in volunteer welfare, because public health is really population focused, and a population does not necessarily have to be macro level. It can be a population. The volunteers of our organization are a population. So by helping kind of outline more policies and procedures and provide more safeguards to ensure their safety and well-being in a deployment environment, that qualified as a policy improvement that fit into the public health criterion. So, yeah.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you. Well, we're coming up on the top of the hour, and so I know that I think we've gotten almost all the questions answered that are in the Q&A. Maybe just real quick, this would probably be more in Stacy and Matt's court, but in terms of, are there required questions that need to be in the letter recommendation? How long will it take to hear back after you submit your application? Maybe a couple of these application specific questions we could answer before we run out of time.
So I can answer. I was just about to answer the application question, Sparky.
Right.
So just to confirm, students should expect to receive an application decisions approximately 4 to 6 weeks from the time of the submission.
Okay, good deal. And then, we talked a little bit about those letters of recommendation, and Matt, I know you talked about that as well. In terms of, are the required questions, or kind of what sort of things are you guys looking for in those letters of recommendation that'd be helpful to help guide the people who are going to be drafting these for you?
Good question. Jen's probably a better person to ask that, I think.
Well, for the letters of rec you're talking about?
Yeah.
Is that the question? Is there list of required questions? The letter of rec has to, unfortunately, we've seen some letters where they just write 2 sentences. It's unfortunate, right? To see that. We want the letter writer to have taken the time to really, we can tell when a person really knows who you are, versus just like, kind of just being very general. So detail oriented, how have they worked with you? To what capacity? They also rate you in terms of top 1% to top 10%. So that is part of when they do turn in the letter of rec, and whether they highly recommend or strongly recommend. So you would want the letter writers to really brag about you, really talk about why this program is a great fit for you, why public health is the next step in your career.
All right. Excellent. And I think we made it through. I think we made it through all the Q&A. So my goodness, thank you all so much for your questions, and thanks to our students and our Brown faculty and staff for their answers. Just really quick before we wrap up, just a reminder of these upcoming deadlines. And again, this is for the spring 2024 start. The priority application deadline is September 15th. Final application deadline is October 15th. If you're thinking, maybe I need a little bit of time, or maybe a summer start would be a little bit better, our summer 2024 cohort application also opens on September 15th. So if you're already in the process for spring, keep going. If you're thinking summer might be a better fit for you, that application is opening here soon, and we encourage you to consider that. So I know folks have shared kind of their contact information in the Q&A. These are also ways that you can get a hold of us. Phone number is 888-584-5166, or send us an email at brownenrollmentretention@mph.online.brown.edu. So once again, thanks to Sean and Tiffany and Amelia and Aksa for your perspective on the student side, and thanks again to Jen and Matt and Stacy for all your help on the faculty and staff side. Thank you all for the privilege of your time. Hope you have a great rest of your day and week. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all so much.
You.